Hello, our dear viewers, and welcome to our special coverage on Nile TV International. Egypt organized a Cairo humanitarian conference for Gaza on Monday to enhance and support the international response to the crisis caused by Israel's 13-month war of aggression and its tightened blockade of the Palestinian enclave. More details in the following story.
Cairo hosted an international conference to support and enhance humanitarian response to Gaza Strip on Monday with broad regional and international participation. The conference, titled A Year of Humanitarian Catastrophe in Gaza, Urgent Needs and Sustainable Solutions, held under the patronage of President Fattah el-Sisi. The conference shed light on a year of humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza, focusing on the urgent needs and sustainable solutions with the aim of enhancing humanitarian response to the besieged enclave. The ministerial conference reflected Egypt's keenness on supporting Arab causes, atop of which is the Palestinian cause. The conference witnessed the participation of UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, along with ministers and representatives from a number of countries in the Middle East and the world, as well as international organizations and relevant UN agencies. During his speech at the conference, Minister of Foreign Migration and Egyptian Expatriates Affairs Badr Abdelati asserted that the ministerial conference to enhance a humanitarian response in Gaza Strip came in line with the continuous of unprecedented humanitarian situation in Gaza. Abdelati said the Israeli occupation forces continue to use starvation, siege and displacement as collective punishment. Foreign Minister assured that the aid that entered Gaza did not fit the humanitarian needs of the people in the Strip. He also stressed that the Israeli aggression in Gaza exceeded all limits, pointing that Cairo conference aims to urge the international community to exert efforts to face humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
To shed more light on the issue, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Ambassador Hussein Hareedy, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Ambassador Hareedy, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
Ambassador Hareedy, the importance of Cairo hosting of the Gaza Humanitarian Conference.
Well, I guess Egypt has always talked about the necessity and the importance of surging humanitarian assistance to the Palestinians in Gaza due to the siege, almost the complete siege that the Israeli forces have imposed on the Gaza Strip for more than a year now.
Yes.
And the surge of humanitarian assistance is a basic element in Egyptian strategy to deal with this situation in Gaza. And you may know, you may be following the talks that were held in Cairo lately with Hamas and Al-Fatah and Islamic Jihad,
yes,
in order to facilitate an agreement with the Israelis on a temporary ceasefire in Gaza.
Yes.
That would, of course, be accompanied by an considerable increase in the delivery of humanitarian assistance. So the conference that Cairo hosted today comes in the context of this Egyptian strategy.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Ambassador, do you see actually a shift in dealing with the Gaza war crisis from the West, the United Nations, as well as from the international organizations?
Well, I wouldn't say a shift. The Western positions remain the same, claiming that Israel has a right to defend itself. Of course, this is debatable and highly controversial.
Yes.
And on the other hand, the United Nations as a system, plus the international community, minus, of course, the West, led by the United States, believe that we have to uphold international law as well as the international humanitarian law. So, but I guess the positions remain the same, madam, and we were really, I wouldn't say surprised,
Yes.
but shocked by the positions taken by the French government and the Dutch government, saying that notwithstanding the international warrant arrest warrant against the Israeli Prime Minister and the former Israeli Defense Minister, if Mr. Netanyahu would set foot either in France or Holland, both governments want arrest him.
Yes.
So, and in having said that, these two governments, with other Western governments, where the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant against Mr. Vladimir Putin, they called on all the countries in the world to respect it. And so, of course, but I said this, I gave you these as two examples of the double standards by the West.
Indeed, indeed. Ambassador Hussein Hareedy, indeed a very alarming situation still on the ground regarding the humanitarian aid reaching the Gaza Strip. How this conference with the attendance of the UN agencies could help in solving this very alarming situation on the ground?
Well, it would raise the awareness of the international community on the dire situation, humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip. Whether the international community, whether the Israeli government would follow through, I'm not certain about that. But as far as Egypt is concerned, we are doing our best. Egypt is doing its best to end this massacre and this genocide against the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip.
Indeed, Ambassador Hussein Hareedy, former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
For your precious input, always a pleasure. And on the sidelines of the Cairo Humanitarian Conference for Gaza, our Nile TV's correspondent Basma Taha conducted this interview with the Deputy Executive Director of the World Food Programme.
Dear viewers, on the sidelines of the conference, I'm honored to have here Mr. Karl Skau, Deputy Executive Director, World Food Programme. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on Nile TV International. And I would like to know more from you about the role of the World Food Programme in that point.
World Food Programme is the second largest UN agency in Gaza. We are providing assistance, or we're aiming to provide assistance to over 1 million Palestinians on a monthly basis. We were able to do so in June, July, August, but we have had serious challenges in the past couple of months, not least to the breakdown of public order, but also because of not having the permissions needed to do meaningful work. And so we're here today to pass a message that unless the conditions on the ground improve, we may well have famine in Gaza. And the winter is around the corner, the situation is getting worse, and the operating environment is far from conducive. We've only been able in November to reach 1/3 of the targeted population, so around 350,000 people or so, but we need to get back to reaching 1 million a month. That is our target, and that is also what is required to avert a famine in Gaza.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Foreign ministers of several countries participating at Cairo conference on increasing humanitarian aid to Gaza addressed the conference on Monday. They included the Palestinian Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Mohammed Mustafa, who hailed Egypt's constant and unwavering support to the Palestinian people on all fronts. More details.
Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Mustafa, who also serves as Palestinian Foreign Minister, hailed Egypt's constant and unwavering support to Palestinian people on all humanitarian and political fronts, in a way that boosts their resilience and helps maintain Palestinian legitimate rights. In remarks at Cairo conference on increasing humanitarian aid to Gaza, The Palestinian Prime Minister thanked President Fattah al-Sisi for holding this conference at this delicate juncture, asserting that Egypt sided with the Palestinian people since first day of Israeli aggression, exerting efforts to put an end to the war, to have a ceasefire and to ensure the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza in cooperation with the Palestinian Red Crescent and other relief workers. For his part, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the situation in Gaza was appalling and apocalyptic, warning conditions faced by Palestinians in the territory may amount to the gravest international crimes. He urged the international community to build a foundation for sustainable peace in Gaza and across the Middle East. Guterres highlighted the devastating toll of Israeli aggression, adding that Gaza now has the highest number of children amputees per capita anywhere in the world. Also addressing the Cairo conference on increasing humanitarian aid to Gaza, Jordan's Foreign Minister Ayman al-Safadi criticized the severe restrictions Israeli occupation authorities are putting on aid delivery and distribution and their attacks targeting relief workers. Al-Safadi calls for enabling international aid organizations to provide aid to populations in Gaza, notably into northern Gaza, describing the role of UNRWA as irreplaceable lifeline for millions of Palestinians. According to UNRWA's count, only 65 aid trucks per day has been able to enter Gaza this past month compared to a pre-war average of 500. International aid organizations have repeatedly raised alarm over deteriorating conditions in Gaza, warning that civilians are on the brink of famine.
Be the first to know. The news live at the site of the event.